Hey class, welcome to week 9. So last week we jumped into statistics for the first time. This week we're going to take a quick half step back and talk about instruments. The reason I want to talk about this now is because it's important for you to understand that the quality of the instruments used in a study really kind of dictate the quality of the data that was collected. And all of that goes into statistics. So people may be using the right statistics and the findings may be great, but if they used a crappy instrument and had crappy data, then everything is kind of going to go out the window. And it's important for you guys to understand while you're reading a study to know whether or not the instrument was any good. So that's what this chapter is going to kind of teach you and go over. So you're going to learn about, we've kind of talked a little bit about validity of a study. You're going to learn about validity as it applies to an instrument. It's very similar when we talked about internal validity for a study. If you recall, back in the early weeks of the course, we asked, does the research actually answer the question it set out to answer? Whenever you have an instrument, the validity is very similar. Does the instrument actually measure what it says it measures? So that's very, very important. If you have an instrument that is supposed to measure depressive symptoms, it better measure depressive symptoms and not anxiety or mania. And then you're also going to be looking at reliability. Reliability in an instrument, does it consistently measure the same thing the same way over and over again? So if one person takes the test and nothing has changed about them, their score should stay the same. That way similar people are going to get similar results. If people's scores are all over the place, then it's a good sign that your instrument is crap. So whenever somebody is reporting on their instruments in a study, you should be looking for information that kind of helps you understand the quality of the instrument. Make sure that you see these things and you understand them by using the stuff that you're going to learn in this chapter so that you know whether or not you can rely on the findings that the study is showing. So you're going to go over all of this and kind of talk about it. Talk about constructs and that sort of a thing, measuring dependent variables. And then at the end of it, you're going to have a discussion where I'd really like you to use, we're going to actually dig out your text for the discussion again, using your Hauser text. Again, he gives really good criteria for evaluating measures used in a study. So this is really helpful for you as a consumer to kind of give you some guidelines that you should be looking for when you're reading a study to make sure it meets your needs. So you are going to pick one of the guidelines and you're going to evaluate a study that I've given you that gives you a few different statistics for various self-report measures. So I want you to kind of look through there and I want you to evaluate those assessments using one of the guidelines that's given to you by your Hauser text. So again, as always, whenever you guys are doing these, there's not very many criteria, so try your best to spread out the wealth. Don't everybody pick the same thing over and over again, because that gets extremely boring for me and for your classmates and everybody else. Make sure you're going through and really kind of critically thinking about the task and checking out each of these instruments and what the study author is saying about them. Make sure you're able to evaluate it. This is a study specifically for the evaluation of self-report instruments. You don't always get this level of detail. So it's good to kind of check out some of the other articles that you guys have read in the class or other articles you might have access to. Kind of keep an eye out and just see, do they talk about the instrument? Do they talk about its validity? Do they talk about its reliability? So that you can confidently assess the quality. So once we kind of get a feel for this, we'll move back into statistics and moving forward on that a little bit. Other than that, you guys enjoy your week and I will talk to you soon.